That's already crossed behind him. And this is gonna go over his chest, right around nipple line, all right? These two pieces of webbing will go under his arms, capturing his armpits. And then everything we tie here is always going underneath. So from this loop, underneath, right? Pull this out. Once I'm here, I'm gonna do this little wiggle and pull the slack out from behind him, right? This will help me adjust where I want my knots to be, right? So I can get them here. I know that when I tighten this, the knots are gonna move. So I can set this up a little higher if I want, pull that slack out. So they're sitting right here, and as I tighten them, they're gonna move down. But that gets all the slack out and lets me adjust where I want my knots to be, right? Going down here. Once I have this tension pulled in tight and I have my knots where I want them to be, I'm just gonna pinch right there and hold it in place, okay? So here's how these knots work. This end of the webbing is going down towards his feet, and basically this is a loop, right? See this loop right here? I'm just laying on his chest. The end of the webbing is again gonna go underneath, it's always underneath, and then through that loop, right? That's on the big scale. Pull that out, and there's my knot, okay? So big loop, you go under the webbing and pull it through that loop.
And this is the problem with making the big loops, is you get a lot of twists in your webbing.
Right? So it's easier to tie with bigger loops, right? Smaller loops are harder to work with. So it makes it easier to tie, but then that webbing can get crossed. You see how mine crossed here? And we need that knot to be flat. So here's how I do it. I skip the big part and I go with bites instead of the end. So I make that pinch right where I want my knot to be. I make this loop super small and I just feed a bite under and through. And so this way, this top piece of webbing stays flat, right? There's not an option or an opportunity for it to twist because I keep it small. Cinch it down, and now look how clean these knots are, right? So just two small bites under and through that loop. My knots are super clean, they're pretty square, right? So when we do both of the chest and pelvic, we want these knots in a nice little box on his chest in the same place, right? I don't want these to be too far, too close. I don't want them offset where one's up high and one's down low. I want to try to get them as neat and nice as possible, right? These knots have to be flat on top and look clean, all right? So that's the first part. We'll go down to the bottom. And we're gonna tie these off. All of these tie-offs are a round turn and 2 half hitches, okay? Everything stays on the inside of the Stokes basket. So we're gonna do our round turn, full round turn. And so with that round turn, we're using it to capture progress as we pull tension, right?
The way I like to make the round turn is I start low and I come over the top of it, and then I come here. So when I pull, it pulls a little easier. Okay?
Instructor Lincoln?
Yeah.
How do you do that with only, for us when we're testing one person pulling on both sides?
Same way we did it with 2
You
people.
just do one at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just doing this a little faster with 2 people. You do the same skill, just one person does everything. So, gonna pull nice and tight here, right? Before I let go of this, I need to capture this tension. So I'm going to capture it on the rib right here.
2 ways to do it.
I like to do it where I wrap my fist around the rail and I just pull and push against that knot, because now if I let go, I didn't lose any of that tension, right? So I can pull the tension out and I just pin it right there, because now it frees up this hand.
And then I just pinch the knot like this.
He pinches it there.
Whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong, it's whatever works for you.
Then we do our 2 half hitches, over and under and over. Once that first one's cinched in, you can let go and do the second one. There we go.
Questions, comments, concerns?